Well, for more on the mining sector, we're joined from our Cape Town studios by Peter Major from Cadiz Corporate Solutions. Thanks very much for joining us, Peter. The platinum price is seen falling to $1,000 an ounce. That must put the South African industry in a rather precarious situation, don't you think?
I couldn't have chosen a better word, Nofu. Precarious is definitely the word. Because right now, at $11.50 an ounce, probably half our production is uneconomic. It's incurring debt every day just to stay working. So yes, if platinum prices fall another $1,000, you're not going to have 50% of the industry underwater. You're going to have 65, 70% of the industry getting there.
Now, we have the Minister of Mines, Mr. Ramatlhodi, worried about job losses in the platinum sector. But as he talks to Lonmin and others, is there really much he can do, given that market fundamentals now see companies barely breaking even?
There's a lot he can do, but it's not going to have a lot of effect. He's only one government minister out of 32, 33 government ministers. His budget's 1.6 billion rand out of a budget of 1.1 trillion. He needs the support of all government ministers. He needs the support of our president. He needs the support of the tripartite alliance, which is COSATU, the South African Communist Party, and the ANC, because they're the people dictating industrial policy. They're dictating mining policy. And they've got to look at the constraints that are on the mining industry now that have taken us from the world's lowest cost, most efficient producers to the highest cost, most inefficient producers.
Now, how does this minister's approach to the issues that face the sector compare with that of the former minister, Susan Shabangu, do you think?
I think there's been a real improvement in negotiation and in methodically looking at the issues rather than shooting from the hip, making loud pronouncements. The fact that he stalled the mining bill, that he asked President Zuma to pull back that mining bill because he's not happy with a lot of the content of it, that's a good start. And he's got a head start here trying to be a broker between the union and the mining companies. So he is more proactively involved with all the parties, and he's got to stay that way. He's got to stay right in the middle. He's got to bring in more government. He's got to bring in more union people. And we have to work on this together. It's not a war. It's not us versus them. It's got to be all of us versus the world, so that we can improve this industry and start creating jobs instead of continually retrenching people when we don't need to.
Peter, I want us to turn our attention to the gold sector.
We shouldn't need to.
The gold sector, we know that there are wage negotiations going on there. AMCU has come out saying wants a doubling of wages, and the NUM is talking about something like 75% increase. Where do you see this whole thing heading?
Well, boy, I've been in talks with some fund managers, international and local, this week. They beat Mr. Matunja's offer by a mile. They said, we want double the dividends this year. We want 100% increase in dividends and earnings this year, and we want 100% increase next year, or we are walking away and we will never put another penny in your sector. So I think management's got a lot on their plate. They got the union on one side making big demands, and they got shareholders and funders on the other side making even higher demands. So that looks like a car crash in progress.
Well, I mean, you've basically sort of answered my next question, which is when we look at the South African regulatory framework, what are investors saying to you beyond what you've just said? What else are they saying?
First of all, investors no longer classify platinum and gold as an investment. They classify it as a gamble, and many pension funds now prohibit the fund manager from even buying a platinum or a gold share, particularly in South Africa. So while you had pension funds decades ago that actually carried South African gold shares, they are now banning a fund manager from even looking at them. And that's bad news.
That is very bad news.
Continual losses. No investor has made money in our platinum and gold shares in 15 years.
Peter, that's where we're going to have to leave it. Thank you so much for your time. That was Peter Major. He's from Cadiz Corporate Solutions.